Every single month, millions of Americans do the same thing. They get paid. They feel good for about 4 days. And then it's gone. And they have no idea where it went. But in Japan, a country where the average person saves 35% of their income, they figured this out over 100 years ago. And they put the solution in a book, a physical book. No app, no algorithm, no subscription fee. It's called Kakeibo. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how it works and why your bank account is about to look completely different. Do you actually know, right now, today, how much money you spent last week? Not roughly, exactly. Most people can't answer that. And that's not a character flaw. That's a system problem. Nobody taught us how to think about money. They just told us to spend less, which is like telling someone to lose weight by just eating less. It doesn't work because there's no structure. Here's what actually happens. You make a budget, maybe in an app, maybe in your head. You break it for 3 days. You feel guilty. You stop tracking. The cycle repeats. Sound familiar? This is called the budget shame spiral. And it affects nearly 70% of Americans who try to save money and fail within the first month. The reason it fails isn't willpower. It's that the system attacks your behavior after the money is already gone. Kakeibo attacks something completely different, your relationship with money before you spend it. The word Kakeibo, pronounced Kakeibo, translates roughly to household financial ledger. It was created in 1904 by Japan's first female journalist, Hani Motoko. Think about that. A woman in 1904, before women could vote in Japan, before smartphones, before any of this, built a money system so effective that it's still being used 120 years later. Her idea was radical for its time, and honestly, radical for right now. She believed that saving money had nothing to do with discipline and everything to do with awareness. She said, the moment you write something down, you change your relationship with it. Kakeibo is not a budget. I want to be really clear about that. A budget tells you what you should do. Kakeibo asks you what you actually want to do and then holds you accountable to yourself. It's built on 4 questions. Just 4. And these 4 questions are going to feel almost too simple. That's the point. Ready? Here they are. 1. How much money do you have? 2. How much do you want to save? 3. How much are you spending? 4. How can you improve? That's it. The entire system. But the way you answer these questions is where the magic happens. And that's what I'm going to break down step by step right now. Stay with me here, because in about 2 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact category system Kakeibo uses. And it's going to completely change how you see every purchase you make. This is the part that actually rewires your brain. Here's how Kakeibo works in real life. You do this once a month, at the start of the month. You get your notebook, physical, not digital, and I'll explain exactly why that matters in a second. And you answer the first question. Step 1. Write down your total monthly income. Everything coming in. Salary, side hustle, whatever. Let's say for our example, it's $3,500. Write that at the top of the page. Now, subtract your fixed expenses. Rent, car payment, insurance, subscription. Things that don't change month to month. Write each one. Subtract them. What's left is called your free money, the money that is actually yours to make decisions about. In our example, $1,825. That's your real starting point, not your salary. Most people never do this calculation. They manage their whole life against a number that isn't even accurate. Step 2. Decide how much you want to save. And here's the key word, decide. Not hope. Not try. Decide. Kakeibo says you treat your savings like a fixed expense. You write it at the top of the page before you write anything else. In Japan, the common recommendation is 10% to start. On $1,825, that's about $365. Pull it out of the equation immediately. In your mind, that money is already gone. It does not exist. You now have $1,460 to live on. Now here's the part that actually rewires your brain. The part I promised you. Kakeibo divides every single purchase you make into 4, and only 4, categories. Not 27 budget categories. 4. Category 1, needs. Food, transportation, medicine, utilities. Things you genuinely cannot live without. Category 2, wants. Restaurants, clothes you didn't really need, entertainment, Amazon impulse buys at midnight. Category 3, culture. Books, museums, concerts, documentaries, anything that feeds your mind or your soul. And yes, this gets its own category, because Kakeibo believes cultural investment is essential, not a luxury. Category 4, unexpected. Car broke down, doctor visit, friend's birthday, you forgot. Life happens. This category has a budget too. Here's why 4 categories beats every budget app you've ever used. When you open your phone and see 27 categories, groceries, dining, entertainment, personal care, clothing, subscriptions, transportation, your brain fatigues. It's too complex. You stop engaging with it. 4 categories is easy enough that your brain stays engaged. And every single purchase forces you to confront one honest question. Is this a need or is this a want? That pause, that 2-second pause before a purchase, is worth more than any savings app in the world, because awareness is the beginning of change. Now here's your daily practice. It takes 3 minutes, literally 3 minutes before bed. You write down every purchase you made today and which category it belongs to. Not on your phone, on paper. And here is the science of why that matters. Research from Princeton University found that the physical act of writing something down activates a different part of your brain than typing. It forces slower processing, deeper encoding, and, most importantly, emotional engagement. When you write down Starbucks $7.50, want, with your own hand, your brain forms a judgment. It doesn't do that when it auto-imports into Mint. At the end of every month, Kakeibo asks you to do something most financial systems never ask. It asks you to reflect. Not judge. Reflect. You answer 4 reflection questions. First, did I save what I planned to save? Second, what went well this month? Third, what did I spend money on that didn't actually make me happy? And fourth, and this is the most powerful one, what can I do differently next month? That third question is the one that changes people's lives, because most of us are spending money on things that aren't even making us happy. A 2023 study by the Journal of Consumer Research found that 47% of discretionary spending produces low to zero satisfaction after purchase. That's nearly half your wants budget buying you nothing. Kakeibo makes that visible. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now let's talk about real results. Because I know you're thinking, does this actually work? Or is this just aesthetic journaling with a Japanese name? Here's what we know. Japan has one of the highest household savings rates in the developed world, consistently between 25 and 35%. Compare that to the United States, where the average savings rate sits between 4 and 6%. That's not a coincidence. Now, I'm not saying Kakeibo is the only reason. Culture matters, cost of living matters, but the practice of intentional, written, reflective financial tracking The exact thing Kakeibo has built into its DNA is a documented driver of savings behavior. Pen and paper tracking has been shown in multiple behavioral economic studies to reduce impulsive spending by up to 30%. And here's the most important thing. People who use Kakeibo don't report feeling deprived. They report feeling in control. There's a huge difference between "I can't afford that," which feels like punishment, and "I'm choosing not to spend on that because it doesn't align with my goals," which feels like power. So here is exactly what I want you to do. Not someday. This week. Step 1. Get a notebook. Physical. Doesn't need to be special. A $1 composition notebook works perfectly. Step 2. On the first page, write your income. Subtract your fixed expenses. Write your savings goal. Circle it. Step 3. For the next 30 days, write every purchase. Category. Amount. Before you go to sleep. That's the 30-day Kakeibo challenge. And if you actually do it, not think about doing it, actually do it, I promise you will feel a shift, not just in your bank account, in how you think about every dollar you earn. The Japanese have a concept called Kaizen, continuous improvement through small, consistent actions. Kakeibo is Kaizen applied to your finances. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. If this video gave you something useful, if you learned something you're going to actually use, hit subscribe. Because every week I'm bringing you exactly this kind of thing. Real systems from real places that actually work. No fluff, no filler. And if you want to go deeper, I've got a video right here on the psychology of why most budgets fail and exactly what to do instead. See you there.